$20 million too much as far as I'm concerned. But it's not like you're indebted to him or you have to follow through with him. Like, what are we doing? Try to win the damn game by bringing in a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the loyalty to Fields is here and why you thought he gave you the best shot at winning that game without going to the bench.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed before one on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me, not
That
you.
is on you.
All right. Yeah,
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
All right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give
right
him
here.
the ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid, I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think Kendra Miller's role continues to grow in this offense. So I think as you're looking at bye weeks continuing on and looking for running back depth, as always, we all know the dynamic can change in a minute, right? We've done this so many times in the last couple of weeks. We were adding Woody Marks before his game. We were adding Brashard Smith last week. I still want to add Brashard Smith this week. I want to add the guys that I think have upside for the second half, and Kendra Miller is definitely one of those backs.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Better have your TVs clicked on tonight, but more importantly, your TVs clicked on right now. It's the top of the hour power right here on the early line. 2 hours, you know how we go. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. All the information you need to have the rest of your SportsGrid day. Click, make sense, and hopefully make some money. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every single day, bringing that heat. We're not even at a football Friday, and it feels like the stakes are extremely high this morning, Joe.
Oh, they are. I mean, a lot going on here. It's a big week here in the NFL, even bigger week in college football. We got over the next 24 to 48 hours, we got a lot going on here. And, oh, yeah, the NHL, too. That's still playing as well, you know, Donnie.
That's right. Still playing last night. Shout out to the Buffalo Sabres with the biggest win of the season there. Why? Because it's their only win of the season at that point here. And also, Joe Ranieri's a Florida Panthers fan. He's already looking for a Canadian team to cheer for. Maybe it's Toronto. Maybe it's Montreal, Winnipeg. I mean, Joe, there's other teams out there that you can still cheer for other than the Florida Panthers, who are struggling to start the season, maybe still having a couple cocktails there with the Stanley Cup from last year. But we got big news today to talk about, Joe, and that big news is always in the early lineup. When we talk about the face of the franchise, isn't it always the quarterback? Boy, when it's stormy out there and the waters are just surrounding you and the ship is going down, you can always look to the quarterback for some pretty good insights where he tells you, guys, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make sure of it. Well, Tua Tagovailoa told you, guys, it's not going to be okay. I'm not sure of it, and nobody's listening to me. Oops, I'm sorry I let that leak out. This team's ready to fight. Come on now.
Listen, when you're a 1-5 football team, it really doesn't make we have a pretty good idea of what's going on behind the scenes. And when you lost a game like they did, how they did, and you send your quarterback to the podium, yeah, I mean, it doesn't shock me, Donnie, that he's basically throwing bombs up there because, you know, hey, you've got teammates that aren't acting like teammates. Yeah. I don't have a problem with you calling guys out like that because I think they need to be called out like that. The idea of keeping it in-house, Donnie, how has that worked out for you so far in a 1-5 season? It's a train wreck, and we all know it's a train wreck. Another dead coach walking there on the sidelines from Miami this weekend.
You know what, I look at this too, Joe, because it's a microcosm of, like, we don't exactly know how the team is going to turn out, right, for the Miami Dolphins the rest of the season. But you're going to Cleveland. Like, Miami doesn't want to go in colder temperatures, I should say, playing a rainy game against a really good defense. Why do I bring that up? Like, there's word on the street, Joe, that you're looking at Jalen Waddle like, hey, he's up for sale. If you give us a first rounder, he's gone. Also, then you take a look at, Phillips as a defensive end, or even who knows if Chop Robinson, like those guys are on the block as well. There's nothing worse than a quarterback doesn't look like he cares much. The teammates aren't buying in. We think the coach is probably going to get fired. And your best players that are left on this team are on the trading block. How can you galvanize your force on a road game in Cleveland in the rain and be like, we're going to fight for this organization and win this football game? It just feels to me like, yes, ebbs and flows of the NFL, they could win that football game. Yeah, it's a 2.5-point spread at this point. But I wouldn't even be concerned if that game ends up like 24-3 Cleveland and be like, this has to end in Miami. It has one of those games for me this weekend type of feel.
Yep, it does, Donnie. And it's bad and as dysfunctional as the Browns have been. Doesn't it feel like the Browns at least have some direction? Like it's a team that understands what, and how crazy is that when you think about it? But it does. That's what it feels like. The Dolphins are making the Browns look less Browns, if that's even possible.
It's not supposed to be possible, but I'm telling you, keep an eye on this game this weekend. Crazy things should be able to happen. And the Toronto Blue Jays, crazier things can happen. You're down 0-2 in the series. You go on the road. That crowd's that is a powder keg ready to get lit in Seattle. And what happens? The powder keg gets lit in the first inning, a 2-0 lead with a Polanco home run. And you're able to settle back in and hammer the Mariners and get back into the series. That's what's impressive about the Toronto Blue Jays. And sometimes you just need your biggest superstars, unlike Tua Tagovailoa, to say, follow my lead, guys. Vladdy last night, 4 hits, 3 runs, 4 at-bats, a bomb, an RBI, hitting .464 in the playoffs here. Just what Toronto needed.
Yeah, absolutely what Toronto needed. But, what also, there's always a give and take here, right? That's exactly what the bullpen of Seattle needed. In a blowout spot, you were able to rest a lot of your back-end high-leverage guys in that game last night, Donnie. So, advantage back to Seattle here. We'll see if they can capitalize it here in this game 4.
Absolutely here. I'm looking forward to this game, too, because a couple of odds and ends and some runs I would like to see scored here. By the way, in other Major League Baseball news, the Orioles looking for a skipper. Maybe it's Albert Pujols. And by the way, at the height of his powers, talking about Pujols in St. Louis, you could not get this guy out. One of the single best Major League Baseball players in the history of the sport. Maybe makes a good skipper. You never know.
Listen, Donnie, I know some guys that play with him in the Cardinals organization, and the guy is a better human being than he is an actual baseball player, if that was possible there. They love the guy. They said he's been a coach, and he's basically been the, that player coach the majority of his career. And I think it's a great move for the Orioles or whoever else might be looking for a manager. He will have immediate respect in that clubhouse.
Superstar Cooper Flagg, immediately respect as a young kid in the lineup there for the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Kidd's like, damn, this kid can play point guard. I'm non-committal on saying he can be the starting point guard, but man, is he good.
Kid is going to be, it's going to be fun watching him do it. And again, I don't know what the basketball gods feel like they owe the Dallas Mavericks, but the idea that you traded Luka Doncic only to get the ping pong ball that got you Cooper Flagg might be the most hysterical thing I've seen in a long time, Donnie. I'd rather be lucky than good, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way it is at this point. Being lucky than good. Well, Keegan Murray is lucky that he has some great athletic ability and is good enough to earn in a big contract extension in the NBA. 5 years, $140 million. What is that like, though? Like sometimes you sit home, it's like, hey, $1 in a dream, win the lottery at that point. But actually like saying, hey, you know what? I just signed a contract that no matter what I do, unless I'm behind bars, I'm going to get $140 million. If I never make another shot for 5 years, I'm going to get $140 million. Boy, that must be nice.
Well, it's funny, Donnie, because if all things being considered, it's just how ridiculous the money is in the NBA. You would think a dude that signs a contract like this at $140 million is probably averaging, 20 a game? Maybe about, 7 boards, like what? Yeah, no, 13 points a game, 5 rebounds in 3 seasons. And he just got himself a $140 million extension, which, by the way, he's not even able to play until maybe November, December, because he had an injured thumb here that had to have surgery.
Yep, how about that? Other news in the NBA. Point guards. Talking about point guards, how about Russell Westbrook? He's going to go to the Sacramento Kings on a 1-year, $3.6 million contract. Westbrook, 36 years old, averaged 13.3, 6.1 assists, and 4.9 rebounds last year in 75 appearances. How about that? Russ still finding homes out there in the NBA.
14 now since 22-23 season here. I'm sure he ain't going to be making 140 million, but it's always good to have a veteran presence out there. As long as he doesn't destroy the locker room, I think he'll be fine.
He's going to look to play 20 years in the NBA. That's incredible to be that athletic, to still stick around, and that healthy to still be able to on an NBA roster. It's pretty interesting. Now, being healthy and the age of being on your roster, Anthony Volpe was looking to slide into that shortstop position, be the next Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees. Poor fielding, unclutch hitting, a lot of question marks come up, and now we find out, yeah, he was injured. We said he wasn't, but he's injured.
I don't understand what they're doing here. They went out of their way to purposely tell us all season long how he wasn't hurt. Everyone kept asking, hey, man, is there something? Is there? No, he's good to go. Not good to go. Now, as soon as the season's over, it's yeah, no, he's going to have surgery here. Sorry about that, guys. Unbelievable.
Nah, tough scene at that point. And by the way, one of the stories that's not in here in the early lineup, I always get a kick out of. An NFL stadium, which we see them all the time, just doesn't take care of the field surface that you play on. Guys get injured, knees get blown out, kickers are falling down. How does that happen in Pittsburgh, where it seems like every couple years, how'd the field get this bad? What are we doing here in the NFL sometimes, these groundskeepers?
I have no idea, Don, but that should be priority number one, shouldn't it?
Like you're playing in an NBA game. It's hey, by the way, the floor is just bad, so get out there and play on that court. Stop the madness. More hot topics includes college football next.
$20 million too much as far as I'm concerned, but it's not like you're indebted to him or you have to follow through with him. What are we doing? Try to win the damn game by bringing in a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the loyalty to Fields is here and why you thought he gave you the best shot at winning that game without going to the bench.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed 4-1 on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me.
That is on you.
All right.
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
Right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give
right
me the
here.
ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid, I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think Kendra Miller's role continues to grow in this offense. So I think as you're looking at bye weeks continuing on and looking for running back depth, as always, we all know the dynamic can change in a minute, right? We've done this so many times in the last couple of weeks. We were adding Woody Marks before his game. We were adding Brashard Smith last week. I still want to add Brashard Smith this week. I want to add the guys that I think have upside for the second half, and Kendra Miller is definitely one of those backs.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Come on now. College football Saturday this week is setting up for an all-timer here. Why? Well, the Miami Hurricanes don't actually play on Saturday here. It tells you how strong this weekend is with a Hurricanes game on Friday night, which we'll preview much more about that tomorrow as well on a Football Friday. But Tennessee and Alabama. Looked like Alabama was probably going to fire their head coach after game number 1, an embarrassing performance against Florida State. They've righted that ship. Tennessee, also a really good football team. This game is in Alabama at Tuscaloosa Bryant-Denny Stadium. 8.5 is a favorite for Alabama, a total, which is up from the low 50s, Joe, to the high 50s now. Expectations are for points in this game. Alabama, number 6. Tennessee, number 11. What do we got?
It's kind of hard not to look at the points in the total in this game here, Donnie, right? Because we've seen both these teams put up some points here. We know Josh Heupel in Tennessee is all about, up-tempo, getting the ball out, and scoring as many points as possible. It's not the greatest of Alabama defenses compared to their past championship teams, right? But offensively, with Ty Simpson, one of the best pure passers in the game. The kid is turning out to be what could be the best quarterback in the country when it's all said and done this year. And Kalen DeBoer, you know him. He'll have no problem going up tempo and scoring with you. So, yeah, I think the over is definitely in play in this spot in this game. Maybe even a team total over.
SC coming to the Midwest, to the state of Indiana, to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Rain is in the forecast for this entire game. Could play a little bit into it. 65.5 is the totals, Joe. Down to 61.5. We'll see it gets by game time. The side opened up around that 10.5 price point. It's below just about at every market at 9.5 to 9, depending where you're shopping at. Notre Dame needs another victory here to try to get into the college football playoff, but also at the same time, a huge game for number 20 USC. They pick up a win. They're starting to talk about playoffs, Joe.
Well, here's the problem, right, Donnie? And we had talked about this on the spread lines this week. This is a de facto elimination game. Notre Dame can't have 3 losses, Donnie, and expect to make it to the college football playoff, right?
Yep.
USC, you're already lost to what is not a good look now to Illinois, which isn't great here. And you got to win a game on the road. I don't want to say this is must win, but to me, this is a elimination game for USC as well. If you go on the road and beat Notre Dame, then yes, you are absolutely considered a contender here for the championship. But if you get boat raced, which this spread is telling us they very well could.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's all she wrote for USC as well. Team total over for Notre Dame with me. I think Notre Dame lights this defense up.
I love it. And by the way, you take a look at the teams that could be built better for rain. No better backfield in the country than what you see at Notre Dame, and also an athletic young quarterback. We'll see how that plays out in South Bend. Big game, big rivalry weekend for sure. How about Ole Miss? They're going to go on the road between the hedges to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. 3:30 start this Saturday. Double digits at the opening line, Joe. They have now backed down to 7.5. Chambliss coming to town with Ole Miss. They're number 5. Perfect storm at 6-0. Georgia 5-1, looking to make some hay in the SEC. Great football game. Over a touchdown favorite, though. Do we trust Georgia in this game?
Well, you're going to hear a lot about this game and the word revenge being used, because don't forget, Georgia got bounced last year in Ole Miss against this Ole Miss team. Again, this is not the same old Georgia team here. This is a Georgia defense, Donnie, that is great against the run. They're one of the top 5 run-stopping defenses in the country. You're probably not running on them. Do we really think Lane Kiffin is going to try to run on them? Absolutely not. He is going to go over the top on them, which is the weakest part of this roster here. Would not shock me, given the underrated value I think that the Ole Miss defense has, and the ability of them to be able to take advantage of that defensive weakness in the secondary of Georgia. Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss in this one. I think they got a puncher's chance for sure.
How about another puncher's chance here in the SEC? Boy, oh boy, it just seems like this league from top to bottom just has haymakers each and every week. How about this one, LSU and Vanderbilt? Typically in the past, what's LSU favored by 21 points on the road of Vandy? Nope, not this time. Vandy, the favorite, at -2.5 at just about every outlet you're looking at, in a total of 48.5. Diego Pavia and the boys going up against Nussmeier here and LSU. Does Vanderbilt have enough in the tank at 5-1 to knock off the 5-1 LSU Tigers?
I saw it was a ridiculous trend here, just to show you how crazy this is, right?
Okay.
We already know LSU is ranked higher than Vanderbilt, right? But Vanderbilt has gone 176 games as a underdog against LSU. And now they're all of a sudden a favorite for the first time in a 77 years, Donnie. It's been 77 years since they have been a favorite against LSU. You got to be kidding me. Absolutely kidding me. Yeah, no, I'm all for it, Donnie. I am all, listen, the market is telling you, yes, forget about Vanderbilt being lower or, the lower seeded team here. They are in a spot to pull off the upset against an LSU team that quite honestly has not lived up to the Nussmeier hype offensively here. I think Vandy can win this game outright.
We had some spread lines early in the week talking about the Holy War, Utah and BYU. Slight favorite to Utah on the road at -3.5 points, and a total listed at 49.5. BYU, we thought they're going to be a mess this year, losing their quarterback, but still sitting there at 15th in the country, going up against number 23 Utah. What gives in this game at BYU?
Yeah, interesting line here, right? We had mentioned it that this opened up at 3, and right now, early on in the week, it's holding steady at 3.5, which I find fascinating, Donnie, because Utah has shown some cracks this year. BYU at home, the Holy War in a rival game, and yet the public hasn't necessarily gotten involved in this game. But I don't think there's a lot separating the level and the talent on these two teams. But I'll tell you this. An unbeaten team, 5-0 on the season, as a home dog, I will take that any day of the week, Donnie. I'll take the points with BYU at home.
Yeah, interesting to see how this weekend plays out. Number 1, Ohio State goes up against Wisconsin. Number 2, Miami's taking on Louisville. That's a Friday night game. Number 3 now, newly minted in the Big Ten. Indiana takes on Michigan State. And slipping under the radar, it feels like right now, Joe. The number 4 team in the country is Texas A&M at 6-0. Probably going to pummel Arkansas, move to 7-0. It's a good season in college football here, but we're going to turn the tables and head over to the NFL to get some previews and take a look at some lines next in the early line.
The best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth-quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's get you ready for the NFL. It's a big weekend here across all sports landscapes here. We love the NHL. We're talking about that, having a lot of fun. Cam Stewart's going to come up in a little bit. We're going to get some hockey talk in. Major League Baseball doubleheader in hour number 1. We recap both of those games tonight. Best bets on the way. Some are going to deal with that World Series capability team and the Los Angeles Dodgers, or would it be maybe the Mariners or Toronto that ends up in the World Series? We'll certainly find out that. But let's get to the NFL. 9:30 a.m. start overseas in London. That's the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars here. The Rams with Stafford, the Jaguars with Lawrence. Look at this line. -3 is a favorite, neutral site towards the Rams, a total of 44.5. The injury that I'm keeping my eye on most in this one is Puka Nacua, who logged a did not practice on Wednesday with an ankle injury. If he's healthy and ready to go for that game, that's going to be a big deal. If he's hobbled for that game or doesn't start, that's also a big deal. Could we see an upset, and a mild one, from the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday morning?
Well, we could. I don't know that we will in this spot here, but the Nacua injury is definitely something worth keeping an eye on here. But I do think that the Rams, even without him, certainly have enough offensively as well as defensively to take advantage of some of the issues here with Jacksonville. And I've been saying it now for 2 weeks, Donnie, with this Jacksonville team. I think they're a bit of a paper tiger here. I think that when the team is getting 3 or 4 turnovers a game like they did through the first 4 or 5 games of the season, including against Kansas City, you know what happened last week in that loss? They didn't get a turnover. And when that happens, they have a difficult time, I think, putting teams away. I don't know that Stafford and company are going to be just turning the ball over as easily as it has been for this Jags defense. Yeah. I think the Rams win this game.
Hey, the Rams. Well, keep in mind, we'll see how the practice reports certainly come out. But the early game, not a bad one. Like 2 teams that actually should have a good football game overseas. Maybe we'll get one of those. Philadelphia and Minnesota are going to tee it up. This is a good one. It looks like it's probably going to be Carson Wentz that gets the start. Carson Wentz used to play for the Eagles, hasn't played against the Eagles in a game. Now he's going to do that. The Eagles are a favorite here, listed between 2.5 and 1.5, depending on where you're shopping at, and a total of around 43.5. Now, early in the week, I have no support here, no love right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were absolutely atrocious against the New York Giants, and they got injured. But the more I start to think about this game, Joe, I look at Minnesota. I don't really like their team that much. They give up a lot of rushing yards on the ground, but also understand this. The Eagles were injured against the New York Giants, and I'm figuring that Quinyon Mitchell's probably not going to play. That's devastating news when you got to take on Justin Jefferson here. But Quinyon Mitchell actually practiced in a limited capacity yesterday on Wednesday. Something to keep an eye on. Also understand this. Jalen Carter, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, did not play against the Giants. He logged a full practice yesterday. And more importantly, if you want the Eagles running game to get ongoing, the center guard position has to improve. You get that? Landon Dickerson back in the lineup. He practiced yesterday in a limited capacity. Keep an eye on that. For me as an Eagles fan, dead in the water the past 2 days on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday started getting a little bit more hope, and we'll see what happens this weekend. Do I love the Eagles in this spot? No, I don't. But if you can get Quinyon Mitchell in this game, that's massive here, because otherwise, JJ's torching that secondary.
Yeah, and it's not a great spot for them, Donnie, because the Eagles are in the middle of a divisional sandwich spot here because they just played the Giants last Thursday, and then they're going to play them again here in Week 8 next week. So now they've got Minnesota sandwiched in between here. So it's a tough situation for the Eagles. Minnesota has been pretty good at home here with Kevin O'Connell, not to mention coming off a bye, having an opportunity to be able to straighten some things out. But this game to me is all about defenses, right? Which defense gets the turnovers, which defense shows up and shows out. It's hard to trust Philadelphia's offense, Donnie, in this spot here, but it feels like Minnesota, if I can get them at 2.5, Donnie, am I not using them in a teaser in this week here? It feels like I should be.
Yeah, it's a fun one here for Philadelphia fans because Wentz will be the quarterback. It looks like he's trending that direction, so at least you can keep your eye on that. And by the way, the Eagles aren't playing good football right now. If they lose to the Giants, which they were so bad last week, and then lose to Carson Wentz of the Vikings, they might have to take that Super Bowl trophy down in the background for a little bit from last year here. Disrespectful here. How about this next game? Could we get disrespect? The Kansas City Chiefs, double-digit favorites. What? And a total of 45.5? Is it going to be that easy, Joe? Is this 34-14? What are we looking at?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways I think we can play this one. Number one, Geno Smith again, the old Geno Smith playing quality teams versus not quality teams here. Yeah, I think the Chiefs getting Rice back. They've lost 3 games to this point, Donnie. They have no intention of losing any more moving forward here. I think it's blowout.
Oh, Max Crosby, not going to like to hear you say that, Joe Ranieri. We'll be back after the break with much more NFL talk next.
The best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Joe, we had a graphic up earlier this week, dealt with the Indianapolis Colts. If the season ended today, guess who's the number 1 seed in the AFC? It is the Indianapolis Colts. They're going on the road to take on the Chargers. They had to come back to knock off the Miami Dolphins, but maybe some help at the wide receiver position and also defensive end position for the Chargers this week. The Chargers are actually the favorites, Joe, at home at -1.5 and a total of 48.5. Are we rolling with the Steichen crew, or is Harbaugh and the boys at home with maybe getting some help back at wide receiver? Hint, hint, Johnston could help them out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's their second now. The Colts play their second road game in L.A. They lost in week, 4 to the Rams, right? So they've done pretty good at home, and on the road has been the only bugaboo that we have seen from them here. The Chargers, to me, worry about it's about the running game and protecting Herbert, right? That's the big issue here, is because apparently it's shown that Daniel Jones should not have any issue and the Colts scoring because, well, they don't have a problem scoring on anybody anymore. So I'm wondering if the Chargers and Harbaugh are going to be able to slow this game down here and kind of suffocate Daniel Jones to the point where, yeah, you can't come back here. Not like you did last week at home to Arizona. Wouldn't shock me if the Chargers win this game, because I do think there are limitations to this Colts team here.
How about more suffocation on defense? One of the teams that creates a lot of havoc, as I like to say, is the Denver Broncos defense. They're going to take on the Giants at home in Denver as 7-point favorites. The total, most outlets showing 40.5 right now. Jackson Dart, a lot of heart last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, who were down in the dumps, and they pounded them here. Did the Giants have an opportunity to beat the Denver Broncos? But for me, This game really does scream to the under because I think that Denver defense is really going to be on point in this one, Joe. Give me the under in this game. What are you thinking?
Team total under too, no? I mean, but you know, Sean Payton 22-8 against the number when his team scores little points like that. So he does a really good job of taking advantage of it. This is time. I mean, this is going to be Jackson Dart's first trip to Denver. Not an easy place to play. And we all know he's done a pretty good job there with Bo Nix at home in these spots. I think advantage Denver for sure in this one.
We're going to get some windy opportunity this weekend, Joe. We talked about, Cleveland's game, probably going to have 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds. The windy city of Chicago going to be close to that as well. Dome team going outdoors, the New Orleans Saints taking on the Chicago Bears fresh off their Monday night victory against the Commanders. You look at the line across the board, it's 5.5 at most outlets here, now dropping to 5 at some places, and a total of 46.5. The Bears are the better team, but the Bears playing as a favorite closer to a touchdown. Can we trust them?
Yeah, and we've seen the total in this game get bet up all week, too, here, Donnie. 46.5, 47.5. I am not expecting some sort of wild shootout in this one. And give New Orleans credit, Donnie. They are a top 5 defense against the run, which means you're not going to have a whole lot of success like you did last week running the ball. But you're going to have Caleb Williams throw the ball here. We all know that gets a little dangerous. So I tend to lean to the under. I think this is a little more of a rock fight than some sort of high-scoring shootout type of game here in Chicago.
How about a rock fight coming up here between Carolina and the New York Jets? Now, here we got Aaron Glenn talking about Fields throwing the football. What?
I think you said after the game you'd like to see him give guys a chance. Something to that effect. Do you think he maybe needs to take a few more chances in terms of it? It's not wide open. Let's try a 50-50 ball. Let's try to give Garrett a chance or Josh a chance.
Yeah, here's what I do know is, and you're right, and I've said that, and I still believe that, and I think that's for any quarterback, especially when you have man coverage to give a guy a chance. But I do know if something bad happens, you guys are going to be bitching about him, So the thing is, he just got to go out there and play quarterback and do the best that he can. But I don't come off that at all. When you're in man coverage, I mean, you got to give a guy a chance to go catch the ball.
Let's see. Now, down his best wide receiver, which is basically their only wide receiver, and now we see what Justin Fields has. And you said it, Joe. The Jets opened up as a favorite against Carolina. Come on now.
Yeah, well, not anymore, right? And here's the other problem now that you're in uncharted territory because the Panthers have not won or covered a game, Donnie, in the regular season in which they have been closed as a favorite since 2021. It's been 4 years since they've won a game as a favorite in this organization here. They've lost 10 straight as a favorite, unless, of course, you want to consider the fact they beat Davis Mills, Zach Wilson, and Dwayne Haskins since 2020. Those are the only 3 they have covered as a favorite.
I'll tell you, it was tough, too, watching that interview there with Aaron Glenn behind. Like, the graphics weren't even working on the board that was changing behind him. Just tough. I mean, Jets, get it together, man. From your tech guys to the head coach to the quarterbacks, things just aren't working out in their favor. How about Green Bay and Arizona here? We got Jonathan Gannon talking about take the emotion out of this bad boy. What is he talking about?
How early in your career did you have to start trying to figure out how to take the emotion out of coaching as far as when you have all these injuries and you have all these different pieces? When's the first time that you can recall that?
2007 when our quarterback went to jail.
Coach, thank you.
What? Now, we need some context on that. So 2007 when his quarterback went to jail, which would have been, I guess, Michael Vick. Was Gannon coaching with the Falcons at that point? Like, what are we talking about?
It would have been Vic, right? It would have been Michael Vick at that particular time. But like what a answer that was here, and then a mic drop no less, and then just runs out. That didn't seem emotional at all, Donnie. Though I'm glad the question was about him taking the emotion out of it, and he drops that and then walks out of the room. So this is another organization on the brink of blowing it up and starting from scratch.
Yeah, where's Cliff Kingsbury when you need you out there in Arizona? Oops, that's right. That didn't work out. But by the way, Green Bay is favored by 6.5 points heading out to the desert. Green Bay with a victory last week over Cincinnati. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be for Arizona, but Brissett did look decent last week. But come on now. Is that going to continue this weekend? Stop.
Well, it really doesn't matter. I mean, whether he plays or doesn't play, we know Arizona is going to be a dog here. But the problem is that, have we seen the best version of Green Bay as of late here? I mean, they have, outside of that opening win against Detroit, Donnie, there's really not been a whole lot impressive about this team. It feels like they're still trying to figure some things out here. So don't like laying that kind of number with a road team, no matter what. And if Kyler goes, maybe he'll have just enough juice in order to be able to be angry enough to get him. Can't trust them long, but maybe Cardinals early in the game might not be a bad look.
Jacobs should be able to run wild, but also understand this. Christian Watson working his way back. Practiced last week when his practice window was opened after the knee injury last year. Probably going to get more practice this week. Maybe a little bit of more help on the horizon at the wide receiver position. Certainly something to track there. I'll tell you who needs some help at the wide receiver position. It's Dallas. Pickens has been really good. CD could be back this weekend, and a total of close to 55 at some outlets, but a favorite towards Washington on the road. Entertaining game. This should be one of them.
So the highest total that this series has ever seen, Donnie, is 53. Wow. We're already at what? 54 and a half, 55 here. So this is going to be extremely interesting. And by the way, the Cowboys have covered the spread in 7 of the last 8 against the Commanders, including 4 straight at home. So this is going to be an interesting spot. We talked about it. I love Dak Prescott. He's 10-3 against the number versus Washington in his career. He is a guy that handles the NFC East. He has problems against everybody else. I don't think he has a problem beating Washington in this one.
Yeah, Atlanta and San Francisco. Bijan going on the road, catching about 2.5 points here. We're not sure who the quarterback's going to be for San Francisco, maybe trending towards having Brock Purdy and Kittle back in the lineup. Joe, how about this one? Little NFC battle.
Yeah, it's, again, health-wise here. Are the 49ers, do they have Kittle back? Is Purdy definitely going in this one? I'm sorry, I am not buying Atlanta here. Not yet, anyway. So I think I would go with the home team in this one.
By the way, growing up as a kid, the Falcons in the NFC West, along with these New Orleans Saints, that didn't make any sense, man. Some things sometimes are wacky. Cam Stewart coming up next, people.
The best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a Thursday morning. Yes, it's early. Yes, it's the early line. The energy is always high right now. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe and here as we bring in the Prime Minister of Canada leading the way for the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, my goodness. They're back in the series, and Cam's back with us, ready to go into Thursday. Cam, how do we feel today? Rested and ready, or, ooh, not so good?
Ooh, just, what a party last night. But I'll tell you this there, Donnie, after Thursday's pick, Philadelphia against the Giants, cut my mic. So I got to do better this time. I can't believe I took the Eagles, but Donnie, I like them again this week. Am I nuts?
Oh, I love
Like, am I crazy?
Speaking to me. Cam is speaking to me right now at this point. No, Fred, like you wanted to cut yourself and cut your mic for that. I wanted to cut my head off for the way they played on Thursday night. But Cam, we got big doings tonight. A lot of action, but let's start with the NFL. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football, 5.5-point spread, 44.5 total. Any thoughts on this game? Because right now, I'm trying to analyze it, saying it could go this way, it could go this way. Any thoughts on this one?
You guys know 5.5, that's a limp number, right? It's one of those things. Usually when it's 5.5, I take the pooch. But last week, I was totally off. But I got to tell you this, 44.5. And I talked to Joe in the break. I'm like, I kind of like the under, but the Steelers offense has been doing really, really well. Rodgers and Metcalf have a nice thing going on. But I also like the way Flacco played in the second half. But guys, they got to get to 45. I see an old, divisional bang, bang, bang type of game. I know the Eagles game, we like the under, and it went over. So what do you think there, Joe? I like under 44.5, but you're right. The way things are going with the Steelers and Flacco in garbage time, it could get there, but it's a very good number by the books. But I'm leaning dog, and I'm leaning under.
Yeah, I like the dog, Cam, just simply because Tomlin as a 4-point or better favorite, 13-26-1 against the numbers since 2017. His teams always play down to the competition, which scares me there. I'm with you on Cincinnati in that spot there. If I hear one more person tell me how the Panthers should just quit on the season, I'm going to scream, Cam, here through 5 games. The cup is still here. I'm just going to let everyone know it's still here. But what are you seeing on the ice so far here, Cam?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Carolina Panthers. I wore my Leggett jersey in the bar, and everyone's like, yeah. Women cover against the Cowboys. Yeah, I was getting some love, but yeah, you're right, Joe. Anyway, the Florida Panthers, you want to talk about the Cats? Let's do it right now. The Florida Panthers against the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to tell you something. Florida's been good. Marchand went wild on his teammates. They lost that game. I lean New Jersey. I don't like the price at $1.45. Other games tonight, Ottawa Senators. What a train wreck. Hey, Tommy, the Buffalo Sabres get 8. What? They get 8. What? Are you kidding me? They scored more goals in one game than they've had all season here. I'm going to tell you, if Ottawa can't get it done against the Kraken, they might as well just get relegated, and we'll bring up the Binghamton Senators. What else do we got going on here tonight? Islanders are a fade team right now. Don't want to lay 60 cents with the Oilers. But, guys, I will take the Senators tonight to beat the Kraken. Kraken played very, very well against Montreal, but they lost in overtime 5-4. Here's my pooch the night, guys. Columbus Blue Jackets, plus 135 against the Colorado Avalanche. And I like the Devils tonight. Rangers Leafs. The Leafs did pretty well against the Predators, but you really want to weigh, you got to lay 55 cents. But, guys, I'll tell you something. The Rangers are a train wreck. They're going to be one of these teams this year that I'm going to be fading hard, but they always play the Leafs well. So this is something that I'd look at. Maybe the under 5.5 that game. It's plus 120 on the under too, guys. That's good. That's a good number.
And the Flyers letting up Hellebuck tonight. I mean, come on, man. Steamrolling over the Panthers. Steamrolling over Winnipeg.
I was on the Flyers the other night. It was amazing.
That's a big pooch. Big pooch at that point here.
Oh, that's a pooch with fangs, rabies, and a bad attitude. And I'll tell you something that, Donnie, the thing about the Flyers is they're going to be a good dog this year. That's the thing. They have a lot of good young talent on that team, right? It's all about their goaltending, but they got it done the last game. I'm going to tell you, I actually like the Philadelphia Flyers wins over, and we're on the Anaheim Ducks at the start of the year, over 82.5 points. Joe, they had 80 points last year. They're a way better team. They picked up Kreider from the Rangers, and man, see those giveaways they're giving away? Those real duck masks? It's almost like a serial killer mask there on Halloween. You know what I get at Leaf games? A Visa bill. They don't give out anything.
Yeah.
Mr. Stewart, thanks for coming to the game. Yeah, you owe us $1,200. Enjoy the $40 beers, numbnuts. That's basically what it is at a Leafs game. At least Anaheim, these guys get it. Jake Knapp, hey, Joe, see the golfers? A couple of these guys wearing like Anaheim, they got Anaheim bags and stuff. I like the fact that the Ducks are doing it right. They're trying to go like, hey, we're Orange County. We're going to beat your face in. And I like that story. But shout out, Tommy. I know the Rochester Americans aren't going, but at least your Sabres got it done. What else are we going to do tonight?
Baseball.
Where do
Where's
you want
Toronto?
to go?
Where's baseball, Cam? Come on, Toronto,
man.
Seattle.
Toronto.
We're back in the series. We're feeling it.
Yes.
Vlad the Impaler last night. Woo,
We are. Oh, my God. Yankees lose. Yankees lose. And after that, I'm like, here we go. And then I got a little bit scared, but that was a nice comeback. Guys, I got to be honest with you. That total at 7.5, I really worry about Scherzer. He was awesome at the end of the year.
Speak on it, Cam. Speak on it.
I'm gonna tell you, though, if they get Scherzer out early, I think the Jays can win. They're plus 120 tonight, over 7.5. And I like the Blue Crew to get it done tonight against Glasnow, plus 160. And if you want to take the run line, it's plus 1.5, minus 130. Joe missed the first round leader. I didn't have Mr. Jameson, Shane Lowry. Didn't see him this week. I had a couple other turkeys, but these golfers they're in India this week, for God's sakes.
Yep.
Don't you guys ever take time off to see your family?
Nope.
More money, more drinks, more party.
Traveling all over the place. Cam, any CFL updates we need to know about? Come on now.
Ooh.
Let's close this thing down.
Oh, Donnie, you're the best. Let's roll. The
Cats?
Saskatchewan Roughriders have already clinched. They're playing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this week. It's minus 5.5. Everybody's on Winnipeg, but you know what? We've seen this movie before in the NFL the last week of the season. I'm not buying in. I actually might take the Rough Riders. The Cats? No, this team's got problems. Donnie, futures, if you're looking for a team, the Montreal Alouettes are back. They're absolutely back. Davis Alexander, their quarterback, has not lost one game as a starting quarterback. If you're looking for a pooch in the West, the BC Lions are 5-1. But I'm going to tell you one thing, man. Watch out for the Montreal Alouettes. I think they can win the Grey Cup.
Woo! How about that? He's Cam Stewart bringing that heat here, and he's ready for Toronto, Seattle tonight. Thanks for joining us, Cam. We'll see you soon.
Love you.
$20 million too much as far as I'm concerned, but it's not like you're indebted to him or you have to follow through with him. Like, what are we doing? Try to win the damn game by bringing in a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the loyalty to Fields is here and why you thought he gave you the best shot at winning that game without going to the bench.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed 4-1 on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me.
That is on you.
All right.
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
Right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give me the ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid. I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think Kendra Miller's role continues to grow in this offense. So I think as you're looking at bye weeks continuing on and looking for running back depth, as always, we all know the dynamic can change in a minute, right? We've done this so many times in the last couple of weeks. We were adding Woody Marks before his game. We were adding Brashard Smith last week. I still want to add Brashard Smith this week. I want to add the guys that I think have upside for the second half, and Kendra Miller is definitely one of those backs.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
closing it down in style on a Thursday. Boy, the energy was there with Cam. We went around the world with as many opportunities as you can to make some money here on a multitude of different sports here. But now's the time, Joe, as we know. We reach out to the public. We want to find out what's on their mind tonight. And speaking of a game on Thursday Night Football, here's our favorite public poll. We got it right today, Joe. We did. We rebounded from yesterday's error on the poll, which was not making a lot of sense. But if you do follow at SportsGrid on X, you're doing things correctly, that's where we ask the questions on our Fade the Public poll. Today's question, what are you betting on tonight in the Battle of the Unks on Thursday Night Football? Two old quarterbacks getting after it in style. 4 options, over, under, Steelers, or Bengals here. And by the way, between the Steelers and the Bengals, Joe, 34% to 33%. I actually went with the under in this game, 44.5. Don't love it, but that's the way I voted. Which way did you vote? And also, how about the public struggling with the 5.5s out here?
Yeah, they are struggling with the 5.5. So if that's the case, listen, focus on the team total of whoever you think is going to win, or if you think Cincinnati is going to struggle here to find points. Yeah, that team total under is staring you in the face. The problem that I have, Donnie, again, is that record that I gave you guys here regarding Tomlin sitting in a spot where he's a favorite of 4 or more. His teams over his tenure have always played down to competition. 13, 26-1 against the number since 2017. That is the least profitable coach in the NFL. And yes, they did cover against the Browns as a 6.5-point favorite last week, but I'm not banking on them rising to the occasion here against Flacco and the Bengals. I'll take the points.
Yeah, we're taking a look, too, and Joe brought up a very good point, which, again, like one player doesn't necessarily make a game outside if it's the quarterback that's actually getting injured. But no Trey Hendrickson could be big. Didn't practice on Monday, which is usually one of those games on a short week or practices that you don't actually practice, but they estimate if you would have. Did not practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so something to keep an eye out for. But also, Shamar Stewart, they look like they're going to get him back in this game. But if Hendricks isn't down, Battle of the Unks, we talk about it. They're Unks because they're old here. They don't move as well in the pocket. If you're not going to pressure Pittsburgh's offense, they should be able to move the football against that bad defense of Al Golden and the Cincinnati Bengals. Something to watch out for, no doubt about it. But it's time to make some money. Joe made money last night. Easy money yesterday. I didn't make any money. We need to go 2-0, and now we're going to bring up bye. I got a feeling, woo-hoo, we're heading to T-Mobile tonight, Joe, out west. Where are we going?
Yeah, Donnie, I mean, we've been talking about this game here this morning, and we started diving into some of the numbers, and it just doesn't make any sense here. Max Scherzer, 41-year-old Max Scherzer, who wasn't even on the roster in the Yankee series, is going to be getting the ball tonight for Toronto. He has not pitched since September 24th, Donnie. And when he did pitch, by the way, in the months of September, 17 runs in 15 September innings. He finished with over a 5 ERA in over 17 starts in 85 innings. Now, he has been throwing simulated games. I don't know what the hell that means, but here's the deal. The bullpen is fresh and ready because of the blowout last night. Both these managers are going to have very quick hooks tonight if things start to go sideways. I don't think Schneider's going to let Scherzer see this lineup twice. His outs prop is 11.5, Donnie. What? You think he's going to make it to the fourth? Absolutely not here. Give me the under 11.5 outs. He will be out of this game by the time it gets to the third inning.
No doubt about it here. And by the way, if we take a look at the crashing of Max Scherzer late in the season, if you even include his entire season, 85 total innings pitched, Joe, 5.19 ERA, xFIP 4.55, and it's been a disaster in the month of September here. Yes, he's had time off, and yes, that might be able to help a veteran pitcher, but I don't think so. There are two really good hitting lineups against, for me, two questionable pitchers. Keep it simple. I thought the Mariners would win last night. They're up 2-0. They got hammered last night. Maybe should have just went with the team total. 7.5 runs tonight. We're getting 8 runs tonight. If the game ends up 3-2, so be it. I'll tip my cap. But I'm not expecting a dominant performance by Scherzer, and I love the fact that the bats woke up for Toronto. We should be getting 8+ runs. That's where I'm going tonight, Joe. So Joe and myself going to the same game, tag team back again. We need a 2-0 night tonight, Joe, and I think we're getting it.
I love it. I love it. I think that goes hand because I think Castillo as well is going to have a rough time here tonight against the way Toronto's now swinging the bats. Got a little momentum here. I am expecting runs. That total could hit, Donnie, before we get to the 5th inning.
Stand and deliver. Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside tomorrow on the early line. It's a Football Friday, people. We'll see you bright and early.